Good afternoon or good morning, students. We're getting started into AutoCAD, using AutoCAD to put in our floor plan and do some other types of drawings and stuff like that in. And what I'm going to show you first is how to use the user interface, or how to navigate the user interface. And as we go, you'll learn more and more about using different tools and things of that nature. We're going to start, if you double click on the AutoCAD 2020, you'll probably have two versions on your desktop. One is 2019, one is 2020. So click on 2020, and then you'll open up to this screen, and all you have to do is go right over here. It says Start Drawing, and well, click on that and kind of start drawing. Let me show you the user interface here. If we go up to the top left, this looks like a good place to start, as good as any. And if I click on this big A, you see there's a little drop down arrow to the right of the A. If I click on that, then I get access to some of my more basic commands. Start a new drawing, or open a current drawing, save as, import and export, publish, print. We'll be using print later on, and we'll be using that pretty good bit. Actually, I take that back. You won't be using it much because your computers don't have printers attached to them. But anyway, we will print some, but you'll just send it to me and I'll print it out, what have you. And then, of course, drawing utilities, just very basic tools. To the right of that, right up here at the very top, is the Quick Access Toolbar. And that has a lot of the same tools that are in your application menu. Maybe a couple of extra. You see here it also has one for open from web and mobile, and one that says save to web and mobile. Yes, you can actually, on your cell phone, your iPad, or anything like that, you can actually put a AutoCAD program primarily for viewing. I think you can do a little editing in it, but it's primarily for viewing. But you can put that on your phone and tablet or what have you, and be able to view. Okay, so Quick Access Toolbar. This is your help bar, so you could type a keyword or a phrase and get straight access to the Autodesk user support library. And I encourage you to use that because I'm probably going to make you use it so you can get used to using it. And also then, of course, a help button where you can just go straight to the website to search for solutions to problems and what have you. And with AutoCAD, that's kind of what it's all about, is finding solutions as you're using it. Now, the software, the architectural industry has gone completely software, and the software updates and changes quite regularly as new updates come around, as the programmers find new solutions for certain problems, as new technologies come about, then they update the program, and you have to figure out how to use it. And myself, as your teacher, I'm not always going to be there. Well, I'm not going to be there besides here in the classroom to help you understand how to use certain things. So you have to get used to using the help bars and the help buttons and things like that, and even just going to Google and Googling your problem. And it's really as simple as just Googling the question that you have into the address bar, and it will find several solutions for you. And that's what employers are going to expect of you. There's not going to be an employer to stand over your shoulder and to give you help either. They're going to hire you, and they're going to expect you to know how to use the program and or how to figure out how to use aspects of the program. Okay, so that's the help section. And under the Quick Access Toolbar over here, we have the tab bar. Okay, these are tabs that take you to different sets of tools. So if here on Home is where we'll spend most of our time. If I go to Insert, I'll have another set of tools. Go to Annotate, and I'll have some annotative type tools. Go back to Home, which is where we're going to be working mostly. And you see that below this there's a ribbon. Okay, so each one of these tabs gives you a different ribbon. Ribbon of tools. Inside of the ribbon there are panels of tools. Okay, so right here I'm looking at the Draw panel, and the tools that are involved with drawing will be located in this panel. You can find more tools by clicking right here at the pull down arrow, and you'll see that there are more tools in the Draw panel. Same with all the rest of them. This is the Modify panel, Annotation panel, Layers panel, Block panel, so forth and so on. Underneath the ribbon you have the drawing tabs. Each tab, well, of course, this one is the Start tab, that where you start in a new drawing, and then of course you have the tab that you're actually drawing on, and this is the Drawing field. You can actually add new tabs by clicking the little plus button right here. You can have several plans open at one time as long as they're open in these tabs, not multiple instances of the program. Okay, so if you're trying to open a second instance of AutoCAD, don't do that. It's going to really hurt your ability to do a lot of things. Just have one instance of the program open, but if you want other jobs open or other files open, just open them right here in the tabs bar, or in the drawing tabs bar. And of course, adding a tab is as simple as clicking on this plus mark right there. Now inside the drawing field, of course, you see what we're working with. We have grids to kind of help you draw. And if you don't like the grids, I'll show you how to turn that off in just a moment. Over to the right, we have the navigation area, and this one is called the View Cube. And this will allow us to move our drawing around, to view it from different perspectives and what have you. I'll just kind of draw a couple of lines on here real quick so you can see what it does. Don't try to draw that, just watch what I'm doing. So these little arrows right here will flip the orientation of my drawing. Right now I've got north, up, south, down, west, left, east, right. I might need to draw from a different perspective, so I can just click on that arrow and it turns the drawing. Okay, and of course if you're using 3 dimensions, you can actually turn the cube this way, and what I'm doing is I'm clicking on my mouse on top of the view cube, and then I'm just moving the view cube in all different directions. Okay, don't play with that too much because that'll really get you disoriented. If you do get disoriented, just look over here at the view cube and get it to look just like this to get back to your original position. Even if I was to do something like this and I needed to get back to my regular top-down view, I can just click on top right there and it'll immediately go to that default view. Right over here is how you close this particular drawing. Sometimes I'll ask you to close a drawing and open it back up. I don't necessarily mean close the whole AutoCAD program and open it back up. I mean just close this drawing. Sometimes once your geometry starts to get a little complex, and of course these computers are a little bit old. We're supposed to get them replaced next year, but they're kind of old right now, and sometimes they'll do freakish things, so you might have to close your drawing and open it back up. And two, you might also sometimes have to close AutoCAD all the way down and then restart it. Let's see, over here is a navigation bar, and it can do a lot of the same things that the view cube was doing. You've got a full navigation wheel, which you can click on that and play with it. I don't like to use it, but I'll let you play with it. This is a hand that allows you to pan the screen back and forth, up and down. Then there's zoom, so you can zoom into certain aspects of your drawing, either the full extent of the drawing, a certain window that you draw and you want it to zoom in on that window, and so forth and so on. There's actually several new ones on there from last year. And then, of course, you have Orbit, which works again just like the View Cube does. So it's kind of a redundancy. They give you several options for navigating. And the one that I like to use, I actually use my mouse. I don't use the View Cube typically, or I also don't use any of these other tools. But if you take your mouse, look at your mouse. Okay, and I'm going to get out of that tool. If I left click on the mouse button, well, that's not what I was trying to get after. Disregard that. If you click on the scroll wheel, that's the wheel that's in the center of your mouse. If you click on that, you can actually pan back and forth. Okay, if you roll in and out on that wheel, then you zoom in and out. Okay, I also use it for three-dimensional navigation as well, but we're not going to look at three-dimensional navigation. We'll just know that we can zoom in and out by rolling our mouse wheel, and that we can pan by pressing the mouse wheel down. All right, now at the bottom of the screen we have a few things of interest. We've got, this is your command line. You actually type commands in here and tell the computer what to do. The software is capable of doing millions of things, and sometimes it just helps just to type a word in there to kind of get to what it is you're looking for. Don't close this bar. Of course, if you do close the bar, we can get it back up for you, but don't close the bar. You're going to need it, because other than giving you the ability to type commands into it, it also gives you instructions, and you'll see how that works later. Below this is the status bar. Okay, and you see there's several things on the status bar. One thing that you'll change firsthand is going to be your current drawing units. If you click on that, you have different selections: architectural, engineering, fractional, scientific, blah blah blah. And of course we always use architectural when we're working in the architecture class. Several things on here. You can workspace switching. You click on that and you get different workspaces. You can even create your own workspace. And what that consists of is just having different ribbons and commands and tools and things like that inside of your ribbon, different things down here. But by default it has a pretty good set of things that you can use. And let's see, one other thing I forgot to show you that I want to show you up top is if you go right across the tab bar, and you'll see this little button that says minimize to panel buttons. If I click on that, you see it changes how my panel is laid out. Okay, I click on it again, and basically what I do is I just kind of rotate through different views. Sometimes you'll accidentally click it and you won't know how to get it back. Just click on this and click through the cycles of all the different views, and then till you get back to the one that you prefer to work with. Now typically I always work with this one. I just have to have everything out in front of me to use. And so forth. So going back down to the status bar, this tells you the status of everything that you've got going on. This right here is your scale that you're working in. Now typically, you can work in 1:1 scale, but it would be good to change it to 1/4 inch 1 scale. And that's good for in the future when we start importing some files and things like that. You'll want to be on 1/4 inch 1 scale, because a lot of times your files are actually drawn at 1/4 1. Several other things, a couple of new things are on the panel, it looks like. And all of these are that you'll learn about on the next video when you start getting ready to draw. Right here is the display drawing grid. And I typically turn that off. I like just a plain screen. I don't like the grids. And if you see it where it's like kind of highlight in blue, that means it's on. So I just turn my grids off, and there we go. Over to the left, you have your layout tabs. Right now I'm in the model tab, which means I'm in the screen where I can do some modeling. And it even says so right here. It even gives you the status of that of your screen. model, or paper space. Paper space is when you click on these layout tabs. So if I click on a layout tab, it takes it to paper space, and this is basically what I'm drawing is going to look like on a piece of paper. And it even says right here, paper space. And these typically is what you're going to use when it comes time to print. When you print, we will use these tabs, and you'll actually add more tabs down below this. So back in our model tab and our drawing space. And as far as user interface, those are all the things that I have to show you. Just get very used to those things. Watch this video multiple times if you need to. The next video, I'll show you how to get started on your drawing.